How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Lone Wolf, and today I'm going to lay a cable from the port to the gas holder. I wanted to buy a new cable layer though, and I couldn't afford it, so I thought quickly I'll get a couple of other missions ticked off. If you want to go straight to the cable laying, it's about 9.5 minutes into the video. So the first one I'm doing is bring the pump to the oil spills, and basically that canyon gas holder, I've got to take the cable there, so this is like a good dry run of kind of which route I'm going to take and all the rest of it. There's a little gap in the fence there, that'll be handy later for the laying the cable as well. Send them all over. I actually went down this path that I cleared the other day. I tried to send the AI down here and they all got stuck, but I aimed for the bin because I thought even if I end up nosediving I might sort of seesaw and pole vault myself with a bin until I'm over the edge, but it ended up I had enough speed and actually flew over there. Yeah, grab this pump. It's the section here, it's dropped off that orange truck, the brown Azov truck to the left, and there was the dozer, well I've just moved it, it's there. There's the ferry, like, that's where it dropped all these vehicles off and this pump and everything. So, yeah, it's quite handy just to tick those off really and bank a bit of money and all the rest of it. To be honest, this pump ends up going to where the oil spill is that's next to the canyon holder. The Azov vehicle ends up going just north of them, to where we ended a mission with the mule kind of a couple of days ago. The utility version of the mule, that has to go, you know, if you watch the historical interest locations video, it's you basically got to drive to the same place that, like the third place you had to scout with that. Well, I was looking up ahead on the map, and then I hit the wall. Kelly's back. She likes patronising them. When she said though a couple of $100, it's like, what? What kind of cable was she planning on laying? Like a lawnmower extension cable? I think, like, yeah, a mile odd of underground cable is probably more than a few $100. Then you'll show her a $3 Chanel handbag and you're like, ooh, it's a bargain. You can see the blue kind of ghost thing in the distance, that's where I've got to drop this thing off. So this is roughly as well, it's partly why I left this in and it helped a bit. This is the route I'm going to take basically to lay the cable. There's a few tiny alterations. That bit there though is kind of integral because it's the only bit where the rail tracks are actually dug up and missing. And obviously when you're doing the cable layer you need like a clear run digging up the dirt, so I'm pretty certain that's the only patch you'll be able to cross the rail tracks and get to the other side. Sounds like some kind of chicken cross the road joke. Yeah, this is the oil spill section. And once you put this pump down, it actually does start draining all the oil that's in there. And more scrap around here as well. Well, it's tempting when it starts draining the oil. It's like, don't challenge me to start filling it all with sand. It says oil spill, you have a sudden urge to deliver cargo on foot. Is that some kind of weird reference to that Death Stranding, whatever game? I never played it, but I remember hearing it's like a massive map where you got to run around on foot. Bit of an odd thing to say if you drain all the oil. Critters is a great film. I've said it before, but we watched it when we were a kid, and we were put a tent up in the garden and was gonna camp out, and then we watched Critters, and then we made our mum go out and get our blankets out the tent because we were scared a critter was gonna eat us. Another one to do is transport the cargo truck to the sinkhole. So that's the Azov that just where I picked that pump up from as well. It's going basically just north. That's where I just drove. That's the gas canyon gas holder thing. Yeah, and it's just north of that. I managed not to smash into the fence when I was going through that gap. However, I did hit a very small tree that stopped me dead. And then while I was coming along here, I kind of was half paying attention, and just as I got stuck I thought, oh yeah, of course, I should have gone at a better angle. Go at more of a diagonal angle so at least you bump some of the rear tyres up. Obviously that thing's got no front wheel drive. And just so happens, like nearby, I had my new dozer I'd bought and unlocked and everything, like a non-rusty version. So I started heading up here. I just left a little bit in to show you, like, I drove onto the train tracks, and this thing now gets stuck. Like, I can't turn off the train tracks, which I think is a bit crappy design. They either need to tone down how much train tracks catch you, or do something to make this thing bump up tracks a bit better. I tried going into sand flattening mode to make the bucket go lower. I also went into manual mode and tried to lower it as much as I could to see if it would sort of prop my tank tracks up, and I was reversing, hoping that dozer would catch like the terrain and lift me up. Thankfully I did edit some out there, but took a minute or two to wiggling around. Eventually it managed to turn sideways and get off there, but yeah, a little bit on the sketchy side. I was obviously on the way to rescue this thing, and yeah, I was at that point I was close, thinking, oh, I'm gonna have to get the bloody loaf, which again I don't mind doing, but I've got him over at the quarry that I've been pouring sand into. Where I'm going through now, you just saw to the right was where I just dropped off that pump, so that's basically where I am. This half-built thing to my left is where we're going to take the cable to. See, this Azov, it's bad enough that it's not front-wheel drive, but it's like, fair enough, they've added a bit of a sketchy, weak vehicle in the game. But on top of that, whatever hitbox is going on underneath it, it catches on all sorts of stuff, and yeah, it's already a difficult enough truck to try and get to go anywhere, let alone when you got hitboxes doing this and that. So yeah, we came here the other day as another oil spill basically. Yeah, my mule is still there. Jumped down this step. I should have floored it more at that point. I was like, oh no, I think I've got stuck. Thankfully I didn't. I started sliding off to the left quite a lot though, even though I was trying not to. So beware of that. And then I was like, fuck it at this point. Just floor it and try and jump that piece of metal sticking out the ground. I got stuck. I must be like a couple of inches off the goal. That's what she said. Thankfully though, had the mule there, so just quickly fired the crane out, gave it a tug. It counted it 4,300 and some money, which more importantly got me over 29 grand, which is what I needed to buy this thing. A new version of the cable layer. I don't know if it's much quicker. I think the stats are a little better, just generally speaking. I wanted to have like the strongest one possible because yeah, this is a little bit of an awkward route, certainly a bit trickier than most of the other cable lay missions they've given us. So yeah, the electricity, take it to that canyon gas holder which I've just been driving past and all the rest of it. This is where you got to set off from. It looks obviously like it's sort of a tarmacked hard surface. I always put a flag right on the edge of where I got to start just so I can see where to drop my the cable laying digger thing going on. So basically going up here, I end up cutting off left a bit sooner and doing a straighter path to that section again that's got the rail tracks missing, and then squeeze past this oil derrick, whatever the hell they're called. I'd probably go through that way. If you go to the left, there is rocks and concrete blocks and all sorts. I'll show you as we're going past. Also though, for this mission, the second half of the mission is laying an AI route. I did it first because I figured they'll at least get some of the way and all the rest of it while I'm messing around with the cable layer. And I ended up coming out the yard the other way, and you can see there's like a solid path cutting from the road to the rail track. So I didn't try this in the live stream, I went a different way. But I figured I'd give it a go. It's only just north of that same gas holder thing we've got to do. And the first truck is this, I'm just going to call it like the utility version of the mule. I believe we are getting one soon, which I'm sort of looking forward to because they seem like it'll be a little better. I reckon maybe it weighs a bit less, or like it's bogged down less because it's not got a crane and a sideboard. It's just got like the little van body add-on. Yeah, it just helps if you put a flag there. It doesn't bring back up the purple circle until you actually activate your crane thing, and you might end up digging like too far away, or you know, end up like digging 10 foot earlier than you need to or whatever. Just hit a little tree there. I think I end up leaving most of this in just because, again, one, it's a little bit of a tricky route, and two, there's a few things I catch on that you might be able to see what I catch on, sort of pre-plan it and get around it so it doesn't really happen. Yeah, getting through obviously that gap that's in the fence, going along here, kind of weaving around these rocks. I'm 99% certain, I should say, actually, because I haven't tried it, going along that road to the left. The main thing is, once you're kind of at this bit where you're kind of out the narrow stretch of land, Up ahead though, there's like, it narrows it off again with rocks, and the only other option is the train tracks on the other side, which I'm, again, 99% sure this thing isn't going to be much of a fan of. I think I catch something here. You can't really tell until it sort of catches it and it starts lifting the thing up. Thankfully though, it puts out like, the purple overlay that it's laying down actually kind of jumps ahead of where your actual sort of hook thing is digging into the ground, so thankfully when you do hit something like that, it's already kind of laid the blue marker past that point, so you can actually like skip little rocks like that without, strictly speaking, have to fully go back and carve around it. Yeah, this is a bit of a tight squeeze, that's what she said, of course. I think when I did this on my live stream, it caught me out a few times here. If I remember correctly, this time I had a pretty nice run. However, I was just going to go straight ahead and kind of loop back round. However, I'm kind of aiming at where the gap in the train tracks are now, and I wanted to see if this route was fine, and yeah, it is. I don't think I got caught on anything. I wasn't sure. This like lighter coloured sandy rock or whatever I'm about to drive over. Go on an interior view on the most important bit. Yeah, I wasn't sure if it had cut through there, but thankfully it did. I was trying to steer a little bit earlier as well, but this thing can be a little bit sketchy when you're trying to steer. I think I get a bit beached now as well. I mean, this is basically the same chassis as that dozer in the top right corner. Yeah, sits pretty low and isn't too much of a fan of, oh, I was going to say rail tracks. This bit's not even technically got rail tracks. Yeah, sort of got beached on the mound, so thankfully this thing, every now and then it sort of works in your favour. It auto starts lifting that cable laying thing up, and it just helps because at that point your steering fully comes back and all the rest of it. Now I'm trying to go along here, like roughly to the right of me is where I've been running some AI routes, so I'm just sort of going along the edge here, hoping that it's like the least likely anything else is going to need to drive. I could drop down to the left. It certainly looks like muddy, diggable ground, but you can see there's concrete slabs that are kind of ticked along there. They're going to be a pain in the arse anyway. And then this oil derrick thing coming up. I believe you probably, I don't know actually. If you go to the left of it, you can see there's like a big fat rock in the ground just after it. So I think this is the only good way. I have been running AI through it. You can just see my mule on the far right of the screen then. That's the oil spill thing I drove to earlier. Yeah, for whatever reason, I want to see, it sort of forces you to go this way really. It's catching on something. You've just got to get it kind of exactly right. Eventually, just wiggle your steering around. It places the digger thing down again, and yeah, thankfully that blue overlay kind of does bump ahead of you a bit, so you can sort of have a little bit of leeway with it. And now, to be honest, I was trying to just go over to the right and keep it neat and off the road, but it was right at the end. It starts messing me around, so I thought, right, I'll dig the road up. And take note of where my cable spool hits this gas holder thing. So I've now officially got the cable here. That part of the mission's done. But you can see in the top left it said route failed, because those AI that I set off have managed to get stuck. In the end, I cut ahead because there was just a rock that they were propping on, so I just moved the line over a tiny bit. Yeah, that mule is the first one, and on that AI route, it's there's two of those rear-wheel drive Azovs after that. There's a last sort of look at the route, a bird's eye view of the cable laying route I did. I mean, once I know which way to go, because when I did it on the live stream I had a rough idea. Yeah, just keeping an eye, and now I changed it with those AI, and then I was like, what the bloody hell's this one doing? Just randomly, he almost got there, and then starts reversing. For his own good, there was a pipe in the way, so he can't murder himself by reversing off into a crater or something. Thankfully, you could see up ahead the doors were open, which means he must have triggered it, but he must have gone to reverse to line up better, and then carried on reversing. When I switched to that vehicle, he was gone, and the doors were shut, so the mission, in the time it took me to swap, must have decided to cash him in. Yeah, and you see now, after completing this, it starts building that gas holder, and it builds it right where my cable spool is with some steps. So bear that in mind as well. I don't mind, because I actually find little glitches like this funny, but you'd think someone would have trial ran the mission and said, right, we're making them aim from this direction to here. What are the chances their cable spool is going to be in the way of the stairs? Which is probably quite likely. I thought now, I was like, oh, the cable layer thing gets a right good angle on it if it wants to dig some cables. Turns out no. Cable layer is not feeling good right now. For whatever reason, it got stuck, kind of bent round underneath the vehicle. I was just obviously pressing buttons, seeing what had happened. Thankfully, when I deployed it and retracted it again, it kind of fixed itself. Yeah, cable spool though is kind of stuck in the stairs at the minute. And since I had this dozer really nearby anyway, where I rescued that Azov earlier that was stuck on the train tracks, I figured I may as well send that in. It was this was the last resort before it's time to get the loaf. And yeah, I mean, well, there you go. I don't even think I officially touched it. It just, as soon as I kind of got close, it bobbed around. Obviously, your results may vary if you get stuck in the first place. I might have just got lucky and it's pinged out there. Worst case, I'd just recover it. So again, I find it funny because it's just a little silly glitch. Right now, I was like, loaf would have got up there. That's why you get yourself a loaf. Yeah, they're both the same chassis though, just different versions of the same vehicle, really. And then I end up not completing this, but I was just showing you. This is another more difficult AI route. So it's out the port, went through them gates next to where I've just laid the cable. You've really sort of got to swerve this corner. You basically head in roughly to where the last AI route is, but a little bit further north. You could see there kind of where I've just gone past, and then yeah, cut past this. We're obviously going to have to bring a cable to this one pretty soon as well, but I don't believe I've got the mission to do so yet. I was flying there because I thought the gates opened the opposite way, and the first AI was about to get stuck, and after all that, it could have just knocked them open. Yeah, so this is the first truck it sends, but you can see behind it sends 2 Wayfarer semi-trucks. Again, just watching this drive along, sort of feeling quite optimistic about if and when they add this to the game. I don't know what we'll be able to do with it, I suppose, but yeah, it seems like it's ticking along quite nicely and comfortably. If it was just them on this AI route, I think it'd do pretty well. This thing though, it's getting stuck before it's even finished dragging its trailer off the road. And then, like a typical pair of idiots, they start ramming into each other. I'm reversing into it, it's somehow stuck, but driving forward and pushing me forward very slowly. And then now, listen to him, he keeps honking his horn like for a split second. It's like something me and my brothers would do to take the piss out of each other. Yeah, they actually failed and I respawned them because I was hoping, well, you can see the rear one didn't spawn until that one had moved. And then he starts reversing. It's like, oh my god, he's just undone about 3 minutes of effort. At that point I was like, yeah, sod it, I'll save that for another day. I need to probably lay some sand. Whereas, speaking of, here's just a quick update look at my concrete plant hole that I'm filling. I've managed to go all around the edges, get that all smoothed off. I've built a road, or 2 I suppose, going through the middle, but they don't sit quite as high because I'm reaching the limit of like how high you can build sand, and obviously in the middle of the crater the game thinks the ground is lower. Yeah, we got that professional. Been pretty busy, probably did another, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours on it or something. I kind of knew early on tonight I was going to do that cable laying mission anyway, so I kind of figured if I roughly just stick to that, I'll have a bit of time. Yeah, you can see how kind of flat I've got it all around. The land's a bit higher there where that bicycle dozer dumper thing is, so I'd have to fill everywhere like another 5 foot to make it completely level, and at that point I'll kind of bury half the yard in the concrete plant. But yeah, it's going pretty well so far. I reckon by the end of the week we're on our way to achieving nothing. I'm on 69%, which is pretty nice. And yeah, just a quick look at my stats. But that's about it for today. I hope you enjoyed, I hope that helps. Thanks for watching, get yourself a loaf, and I'll be back soon.